Dequan, I know you certainly haven't gotten the results that you wanted thus far in your UFC career. So just give me kind of what the mindset has been like through this start.
I mean, since the beginning, man, I've just been taking a bunch of fights, man. A lot of my fights has been out of my weight class at short notice, but this is like the first fight that I've had that is full camp, you know. So I'm excited to actually show my true potential.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because, you know, the last time I thought the turnaround was so quick, and I understood like maybe you were frustrated and just wanted to get back in there. Was this like a conscious decision to go, hey, we can't do that anymore. We got to take a little time and give ourselves that luxury of preparation?
Yes, actually it was, man. I just decided to stay in my own lane and let's go ahead and give myself a full camp.
Was that a tough mindset? I mean, I know you've been around the game for a long time, so was that tough for somebody to get to you and be like, hey, man, at this level, you don't get to do those things. You got to take it a certain way. Was that tough for you to go, yeah, you're right?
Yes, because me, where I'm from and how I grew up, I was never one to turn down a fight and never one to back down from anybody. So it was more of, you know, I got to learn to play chess and not checkers.
Who was it that got in your head that said that got the sense into you?
It was my head coach.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Listen, between then and now, it's been a crazy time. Crazy for your family, of course. Real tragedy. Was there any thought of, I mean, I know you're building towards all this to say, I can't compete.
At one point, I thought about it. You know, I originally was supposed to fight September 12th, but some things that, you know, due to the loss of my brothers, it, you know, put me out of the loop for a second. I had to find myself, get my mind right, and at one point it was more of me saying, like, I don't want to take the fight, I don't need to take the fight, you know what I'm saying, I just need to give myself some time to grieve. But then I thought about, like, what my brothers want, you know, and I end up having to just, I told myself I'll grieve later, you know.
Fair enough. They match you up with a tough guy, right? I mean, I know, you know, at this point you probably don't get to select anybody. You just take who they give you. So when they give you the name, did you know anything about him? What was the thought?
Didn't know nothing about him at all. Nothing about him. I mean, a young undefeated prospect. So, I mean, I'm sure, like I said, in general, I mean, odds is probably stacked against me. That's fine. I don't care.
I like it. So, do you go in there with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, maybe? Like, hey, man, I see what they're trying to do here. They're putting me up against a young, undefeated guy.
Well, I mean, the way I look at it is like this, man. I mean, like I said, I'm on 3 right now, you know. What's the best way to get my name back in the loop? Fight somebody who's a young, undefeated prospect that all eyes is on him. So if the eyes is on him, you know, the big guys is watching. I need to bring some attention to me.
For sure, man. So I dig it. So I think for me, I mean, what is the goal here? Like, is it just about we need to go in there, we need to pick up that first win, you know, prove we belong here, or do you feel like maybe you got to do it with a little bit of style points as well? You know, you got to prove to the world that, hey, I'm better than maybe what you thought I was.
My goal is to go out there and get the W, man. I just, you know, go out there, show some experience, and just, you know, my back's against the wall, man. So, you know, it happens when people's back's against the wall, they attack. So I'm gonna go out there and really show my true potential as to why I was signed in the first place.
Yeah, man. You mentioned you don't know anything about this guy and you just know about his record and stuff. Do you prefer that when you're fighting a guy you don't know anything about? Because if you know something about them, you might start thinking about planning for that specific thing instead of just focusing on yourself.
Well, I mean, I know the basics, but in the end, I don't focus on what he can do. I focus on what I can do. You know, it's a good idea to know certain things about him, but if I get my head wrapped up into what he's capable of, sometimes I forget what I am.
Does a little bit of that also have to do, like, in this time, this turbulent time, like, you could sign a contract and then you could go through 2 opponents because say he tests positive or he can't get into the country, something like that. Is it challenging at all to even try and plan, like, past a week rather than like a full fight camp?
Yes, because I mean, I could have a guy that I'm training for that's a straight wrestler and go to a wrestling camp to prepare for nothing but ground, and then next thing you know, they put me up against a top level striker, southpaw or something. So yes.
How do you get through that? Like, when you sign a contract, I'm sure you're hoping you get through this full fight camp. Is there any part of you that's like, I should probably prepare for the worst case scenario too?
Sometimes, man. I mean, truthfully, man, I got so many fights under my belt, man. So it's nothing that I haven't really seen before. So I just learned to call audibles, man. Just, you know, make sure that I touch up every little aspect of my game.
Wow. How you doing, bro?
How you doing?
Good, man. Talk to me a little bit about your nickname, the Tarantula. Obviously, we've seen the Spider, but what's the story behind the Tarantula?
Well, I mean, they gave me this nickname a while ago, man. It's just pretty much long. I used to fight at 170, and 6'4", long reach, long legs, knockout artist. I developed a nickname back in the day when I was out here just beating up like people. So,